Hi, I'm Katrina. Welcome to Trailblazing Retirement. Today I want to talk to you about your healthcare options in early retirement. So I know a lot of us are afraid about those options. Fear of the unknown can stop us from pursuing early retirement. That was one of Jon and my biggest fears when we first started thinking about the possibility of retiring early. And so I've always felt that knowledge is power. So the more that you know, the less scary it becomes. So I want to encourage you to stay with me today and learn a little bit about the options that are available to you in those years in between early retirement and Medicare. So Jon and I have been exploring all the different options out there, and believe it or not, we found 10 different options available to early retirees. And who knew that there were so many out there? So I think it's really powerful to know that there are options out there available to you. Now, not all of them are going to fit your situation, and not all of them will be ideal for your particular retirement plan. But knowing that there's plenty of options out there is actually quite freeing and helps you to really feel the possibility that it helps you to really see the possibility that early retirement can happen for you. And so I want to encourage you not to let fear stop you from thinking about the possibility of early retirement. And so I wanted to share with you 10 of the options that we've discovered in our research and exploration of healthcare options. And I want to note that I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not an insurance broker, or I'm not an expert in the field. I'm just a regular person who is retiring early, and I wanted to know what my healthcare options are. My hope is to help you start your exploration and diving deeper into all the different options that are available to you, so that maybe that can open the door to early retirement for you as well. I think so many people wait years and years to retire simply because they're scared about the healthcare options, and they're like, well, I'll just keep working until I'm 65, so I know that I have Medicare available to me by then. But just know there are options out there, and yeah, I'm going to share 10 of them with you today, and maybe some of them will work in your situation. So the first one is COBRA, which I think most people are familiar with COBRA. And so COBRA is an option if you are close to 65. So if you just have a short period of time between now or the time that you retire and when you plan on starting to receive Medicare benefits, right? So it's good for 18 months. The thing about COBRA is, I guess the cons about COBRA is it's expensive. So that's where you continue your employer healthcare insurance. And note, you do have to have healthcare from your current employer right now to be able to utilize COBRA. But if you do have that, then you're able to continue using that. But it can be very expensive because you have to pay 100% of the premium. So while you're employed, your employer pays a good percentage of this premium, sometimes like 70 to 80%. And so when people see how much COBRA costs, it is often quite a shock how much it is. In addition to paying the full premiums, you also have to pay like a 2% administration fee. So it's not very cost effective, but it is an option available to you. And I guess the pros of having COBRA is that you continue to use the healthcare coverage that you're used to, that you've used during your time in your employment. You can use the same doctors, you're familiar with the plan. So if you have just a short period between the time you retire and being able to start Medicare, then this might be an option for you. So the second option is out there, but it's definitely not one that I think is a good option. Again, I'm not an expert, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just a regular old person, but I'm like, this wouldn't work in our situation, and even if we were in this situation, it probably wouldn't be the best. It is short-term plans, and those can last from anywhere from 30 days to 364 days. But the pros of that are they're pretty affordable. The cons are more numerous. So the cons are the fact that many pre-existing conditions are not covered under this. It often only has very limited coverage, and it's really not the first line of choice. But I just want you to be aware that if you hear about these short-term plans and you're in those years where you only need it for a little bit of time, just dive deeply into it, read all the fine print, because many times it doesn't cover what you need it to cover, like preventative care. So that is an option that's out there. So option number 3 is actually one of the options that we will be using in our plan for retirement. Again, Jon and I will be retiring in just a few years, and we are making plans right now and sharing what we discover along the way of this early retirement planning with you guys to hopefully inspire you and help you along the way as well. So the third option, the one that Jon and I will be using, is the ACA marketplace, so the Affordable Care Act marketplace. So the Affordable Care Act is an option for Americans to utilize, and the pros of the ACA are you cannot be excluded for pre-existing conditions, so that's fantastic. If you already have some conditions that might preclude you from coverage, so that is a huge plus of the ACA. And then there are subsidies available based on income. So it's a little complicated getting into the ACA. And again, not an expert, but I have learned a lot about that and have found that this is most likely going to be our most affordable option. And there's several different plans on the marketplace. So you have bronze, silver, gold, platinum plans. So depending on what you want for your coverage, do you want a higher deductible? Do you want the best of the best coverage? So there's options there, and the prices vary. And sometimes people do have sticker shock whenever they see the prices of those plans. But please note that in retirement, you often have a lower incomes than when you were working full time, and so it's possible that you would be eligible for subsidies. So dive into that, go to their website and see what's available. You don't have to sign up. You don't put your phone number in or anything like that. You can just put what your estimated retirement income will be, and it will show you the options in your state, in your area. So check that out. I'd be happy to do a little bit deeper dive into the ACA marketplace. If you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments, and I can do another video that dives a little bit deeper into this option. Okay, so a fourth option that's out there for you is just private insurance. So if you've explored the ACA marketplace, you're not happy with it, and you want to see what private insurance is available in your state, in your area, and possibly if your income is higher than the threshold for the ACA subsidies, then private insurance might be an option for you. So you can reach out to, there are insurance advisors and brokers that can help you navigate that landscape. So do your research and check out all these options and see what's going to work in your situation and for your income and for your lifestyle. Fifth option is spousal coverage, which this one's kind of I think a given, but not everybody retires at the same time as their spouse. So if you are retiring earlier than your spouse and they have health coverage, then they can add you onto their plan. Usually that's the cheapest option available if your spouse is continuing to work beyond your retirement age. Jon and I are retiring at the same time, so that option doesn't work for us, but it's definitely something that could work for some. So option number 6 is an employer retiree plan. So there are some employers out there who offer an employer retiree health insurance plan for those who retire before 65 and before they start Medicare. And that can be a great option. Usually it's usually it's maybe one of your best options if it's available to you. Now, there's not many companies that still do that. We have some federal agencies, some educational institutions still do that. Okay, and Jon and I actually have a little bit of this from our employer. We both work under the Florida retirement system. There's a big lizard. We both work under the Florida retirement system, and they do offer a healthcare benefit to those who qualify with a certain amount of years. So you are given a certain amount each month to go towards your healthcare coverage. You have to show proof that you do in fact have healthcare coverage, and then you receive that benefit. So that's a bonus, and that would be part of our plan, that we are very fortunate that we have that to help offset some of the cost of our healthcare. So the seventh one that I want to share is health savings account, or the HSA, and that is not necessarily health insurance, but it is kind of like an investment plan for saving money for health insurance costs. We don't have that offered through our employers, because it's usually offered when you have health insurance that has a high deductible, and we're fortunate in the plan that we have through the state of Florida that we don't have high deductibles. So, but the converse of that is that we are not offered an HSA plan through our employer. But check with yours and see if that's available, because this is a great option. It's actually a triple tax savings for you, because that money that you put into your HSA goes in there pre-taxed, so you get a tax advantage from lowering your taxable income each year that you contribute to this, and then it grows tax-free in that account. It's an investment account, and then when you take it out to cover qualified medical expenses, it's not taxed. So it's like a triple tax advantage. So check with your employer to see if they offer an HSA for you. So the eighth option I'm going to share with you is a health sharing ministry plan, or a faith-based health sharing plan. And that is not actual insurance. So I want to make sure you know that it is not an insurance plan. It's actually part of a faith-based program that basically pools money. So you pay a premium or a certain amount each month, and that goes into a pool. And then whenever you need medical reimbursement for procedures or whatever it is that you have going on, then you submit that to be reimbursed by that health sharing plan. So a big caveat for this is not health insurance. You're not covered by law under this as a part of a community, and there are caps on how much you can use for that you're able to be reimbursed for this, and there are maybe exclusions, and you have to follow certain lifestyle choices to be able to participate in these programs. So it is an option out there for those who have like a faith-based community that has this plan. Just want to share that is an option, but just note, please make sure you understand how it works and know that it's not actual insurance. All right. The ninth option that I'm going to share with you is actually one that is kind of Jon and my plan B in case we get into retirement and things don't work out the way we plan. We can always go and do part-time work with benefits. So that's an option for people too. There are many companies out there, especially larger companies, that provide benefits for part-time employees, like Costco, Starbucks, FedEx maybe, or UPS. I'm not sure, one of those. But do some research, and you can see, literally look at a company that you're interested in, maybe working some part-time hours, like 20 hours a week, and see, do they offer part-time benefits, health care for their employees. So that's an option. So just know that if these other options don't work out for you, there's always a plan B, and you can go to work somewhere that will offer you the coverage that you need. And you have some choice on where it is you're working. It could be low-key, not so stressful, and it's just part-time. So if that's an option for you, I think it's nice having that kind of in your back pocket, and knowing that you have that available to you if push comes to shove. Our 10th option that we want to share with you today is travel-based insurance, and that is one of the options that Jon and I will utilize in our early retirement, because we plan on doing quite a bit of travel during our retirement, and some of that travel is going to be abroad. So we want to make sure we have coverage when we're out and about across the world, and travel-based insurance is a great option for that. And there's several out there available, and there's even more becoming available every day because we have more and more people living that travel nomad existence. So there are some companies out there that really cater just to those who are like slow travelers or people who are traveling full time. So just know that if you plan to travel the world, there are options available to you for that as well. All right, so that's a wrap on our 10 options for healthcare coverage in early retirement. So hopefully you found this useful, and you maybe sparked a new idea of a healthcare option that you didn't realize was out there and available to you. And I hope that this will help you to see that early retirement is a possibility, and that healthcare doesn't have to be the barrier to that, right? So don't let your fear of the unknown in healthcare options prevent you from living that early retirement life that you might want to pursue. So an action step for you is to check out one of these options that sounds like might fit in your authentic retirement life, right? So ask your employer what they offer. Do they offer HSA? Do they offer an employer retiree plan? You might not even know that they do, and they have that available to you. So it'll be a happy surprise when you go visit your HR if they offer those type of benefits for you. So ask questions at your employer, and then do some research into the ACA marketplace, private insurance. There are insurance brokers out there available that you can contact and get assistance with exploring these options. If you're kind of leery of doing it on your own, you can definitely, and I would definitely advise, if you're thinking about early retirement, to seek out financial advice from a financial advisor. I'd recommend fee-only financial advisors to help you in this process. And yeah, knowledge is power. So I hope that I've inspired you to learn a little bit more about your options, so it's not as scary as it might seem at first. And I would love to hear what your plans are. If you are already retired and have insights that you can share with me and with our audience, that would be fantastic for you to share that in the comments, so we can learn more as a community and help one another. So I'm excited to hear what you're doing out there, or questions that you might have, or some advice, or some lessons learned that you've experienced as an early retiree and navigating the insurance world. So thank you for being with me today. I'm Katrina from Trailblazing Retirement, and I'll see you on the trail.